Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Talk with Wale Ayantoye. I'm excited to have you back on this podcast, and today we're going to be talking about delivering feedbacks. On my last podcast, I discussed with you guys about being a first-time managers, where I shared some 5 basic points about being an incredible manager. So today we're going to be building up on that, and we're going to be talking about how to deliver feedbacks. When you're delivering feedbacks to your team, one thing we all know is that feedback is one of the areas where we dread as a manager. Half of the time, people naturally are going to try and avoid a conversation because they think it might end up being confrontational. But like I always say, it's all about your delivery. And so today, we're going to be talking about how to have those difficult conversations and also maintain the peace on your program. So the first one I'm going to be talking about today is constructive criticisms. The truth is that half of the time, for as natural human instincts, our first thing is to talk about what is not going right. Rather, we have a tendency of ignoring the things that are working. I don't really want to believe anybody is a complete asshole, especially when you're getting paid. So I really want to give them a chance. And so when you deliver your feedbacks, what are the things that you should look out for? Constructive criticism is very, very important. Firstly, approach the situation by talking about the things that are working, rather than just dive into the things that are not. Half of the time, people want to hear the things they're doing right, and also they want to hear how they can improve or what they need to do in order to get their game to the next level. When you're talking to your team member, I encourage you to start on a note where you talk about the things that they're doing right, the amazing job they've done over the last couple of months, and also how they can improve. So, like I said, constructive criticism is very important. So, we're going to be talking about the second point, and that is listen to them and understand where they're coming from. Empathize. Empathy is the greatest weapon of any manager or any leaders. Half of the time, what is affecting your team member performance has nothing to do with the work itself. It might be family, it might be health, it might be whatever they don't want to talk about. People go through a whole lot of things. And as much as you want to say, that is not part of my job descriptions, guess what? As a manager, it's part of your job to understand why your team is underperforming and having those critical conversations. It might be the time maybe your early morning meeting is affecting their performance. Maybe you guys have too much meetings. I remember where I had an opportunity of coaching a team, and one of the first things people keep talking about is we have too much meetings. And they even end up having a meeting and discussing how not to have too much meetings. So you see what I'm talking about? Half of the time, the things that affect your team performance has nothing to do directly with the job. Your job as a manager is to create a conducive environment where both external and internal forces can support them to deliver the job. So empathize and understand where they're coming from. That is important. And that brings me to my third point. Discuss on how they can improve. Don't just talk about the problem. Give them solutions. Talk with them on how they can improve on what is going on, how they can manage their workload. If the workload is too much, if they need an extra help, if your team need more headcount, have those conversations and help them along this journey. The truth is that people don't really care how much you know until they know how much you care. And I'm going to say that one more time. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So it is your job as a manager to really understand your team. And I can assure you, it is tested and trusted. When people really know how much you really care about them, they want to work for you. That's the kind of manager you want to stick your neck out for. And that should be you. And that brings me to our fourth point. Understand the goals on the team. You need to understand the goals each team member set for themselves. If you raise the bar too high and your team has a low expectation for themselves, or this particular individual has a low expectation for themselves, you can be rest assured you're just going to end up being frustrated. So understand the goal they have for themselves and see how that goes or those goals align with your team goals, and your team goals, how it aligns with the company's expectations. So that is essentially important. And lastly, Set a development plan for each individual on your team and visit the development plan periodically. As you do this, you're going to see some couple of changes here and there. And I'm telling you, feedback is not as dreadful as many managers takes it to be. So go out there and deliver your feedbacks.